And we are live. It's Leah McHenry here. How's everybody doing today? Let me know if you can hear and see me okay. Well, you should be able to see a screen that says behind the scenes of a six-figure music business, and you should be able to hear my voice. Just let me know in the chat if you can hear me all right. And we're going to get started at the top of the hour. We got like 5 minutes till we start. So in the meantime, I have a fun little poll that you can take if you want to let me know or let the community know which one best describes you. Are you a singer? Are you a songwriter? Are you an instrumentalist, producer, manager, or maybe you do everything yourself? You can do that, and this is just totally for fun. And let me know where you're coming in from. Let's see, we have a bunch of people hopping on now. Hey guys, we're just about to get started. So let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay. I need to see some yeses. And then second of all, let me know where you're coming in from and what kind of music you play. What genre do you play or create or whatever it is you do? Cool. And I see you guys are having fun with the poll. Right now, it says 42% of you who are doing this right now, that you do it all. You guys do everything. So that's kind of fun. The ratios are changing as more people are putting in their answers, but a huge amount of you right now do everything, which is cool. Awesome. Jackson says, I can hear you okay. Awesome. And you create music in all genres. Tom says he hears me fine. And Dallas says he's a singer, songwriter, musician, and producer. That's awesome. Sammy is from Rhode Island and plays metalcore and post-hardcore. Cool. I think I know what metalcore is. I don't know what post-hardcore is. Maybe you can explain that to me. I'm in the metal world, but I'm not in that subgenre. I'm sure a lot of you guys can understand, like within genres, sometimes there's like so many different subgenres that it's like their own little world. And like within those little subgenres, you got your own cultures, you've got your own, just kind of fan clubs within some of those subgenres. So there's always so much to learn. If you're just hopping on now, we're getting started in just a few minutes. Let me know where you're coming from, where are you in the world, and what kind of genre you play. Awesome. Dan says he's from New Jersey. He writes and performs educational rap. Oh, that's interesting. That's the first time I've seen that before. Very cool. Daniel is from Seattle, Washington, and does horrorcore. That's kind of a tongue twister, you have to admit, horrorcore. I'm guessing that you must be doing some kind of, like, are you going to play a Seattle or like a show on Halloween? Because that would be like the perfect day to do horrorcore. Someone said they're from Argentina. Matt says he writes and produces over several genres. That's cool. We have a lot of people who are very diverse. Dan says he's solo and modern rock. And where are you guys coming from? I'm seeing some people. Oh, Tom says he's from the UK. The last time I did this class, we had people like from Switzerland and all different kinds of places from all over the world. Very cool. We're starting in like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes from now. I'm looking at the poll, and this is kind of fun. 6% of you say you're a singer. 42% of you say you're both a singer and songwriter. 6% of you consider yourself an instrumentalist. You play guitar, bass, drum, something like that. 6% of you say you're a producer. Oh, they're changing now. 5% of you say you're a manager. 32% of you say that you do it all. You're doing everything. 5% of you say you're a lyricist, and 0% other. So we have a huge amount of singer-songwriters and people who do everything. Like you must be like writing, singing, playing the instruments, producing, maybe even some of you mix and master. That is something that I personally don't touch. I don't touch that stuff. I let the experts handle that stuff. I do my own songwriting and singing, and I do some orchestration and stuff, but that's as far as it goes. So, hey, good to have you guys all here. We've got 1 minute left to go, and we're getting started. Yeah, we got someone here from the Netherlands. We have someone here from Switzerland, Colorado, UK, Australia. Wow, this is awesome, you guys. I'm so just honored that you guys would all be here today, and we're here together as a group from all over the world. This is very, very cool. All right, well, we're just about getting ready to get started here. And last question, just for fun, what music did you listen to today? What's your favorite band that you were listening to so far, if you've listened to anything? I was personally just listening to, let me find what it was, this band. They are Ukrainian, I believe, called Ignia, and they kind of have an interesting, they're heavy metal, but they have a cool Middle Eastern flair to what they do, which is very unusual for the country that they are from. So anyway, that's what I was listening to. Let's see. Howard said loud and clear, Christian genre. Okay. Awesome. Steven says the Bamboos, which is funk. Okay, interesting. Right on, guys. One last look at the poll for fun. It looks like the winner right now is singer-songwriter. 38% of you say you're a singer-songwriter. Very fun. All right. Well, we are about to get started. Oh, Alexander said he was listening to Depeche Mode. They were just here in Vancouver the other night. I know because one of my good friends is obsessed with Depeche Mode. So that's how I know. All right. So we are going to spend an incredible hour together. I'm very honored that you have taken the time to spend with me today to learn this. I will make sure that it's worth your time. This is going to be the best thing you've done all year. If you've already seen this class, get your pen out this time and take some notes, because I did this a couple days ago and there's a lot of people asking, Leah, I missed it. I missed that one chunk I really wanted to see. So a lot of people come and watch it again because there's so much jam-packed information here. So I just wanted to encourage you about how you can supercharge your results in this class. So who here in the chat, let me know who here is serious about their music. Type Y for yes, N for no, M for meh, or whatever you think. Who here is serious about their music? As I believe that everyone who showed up today is actually a serious musician, whether you do it full-time, part-time, doesn't really matter. Otherwise, why would you be here? You wouldn't even come if you weren't serious. So now I'm going to hold your feet to the fire, and I'm going to highly recommend that you turn off your text messages, put your phone on silent, close your other tabs, and just do yourself a favor and focus. I'm seeing everybody saying yes. Everybody's saying yes. Okay, I'm also going to be asking a question at the end in order for you to win something. So you need to pay attention the whole time in order to not miss it. And this is for your benefit. And I also want to let you know that this info works together as a complete picture. If you're distracted and you only get a piece of it here and there, you're not going to see the results in the same way. Okay, now here's my bold promise to you, is that by the end of this class, you're going to know the secrets of professional musicians who are killing it online right now, making 4 and 5 and even 6 figures every year. And this is not counting touring. You'll find out that my view is touring is awesome, but it's like the icing on the cake, but it's not even part of the equation in my formula. I also want to acknowledge to you that you may have heard other people out there claiming this and that, or services out there. There is just a lot of crap on the internet. There's a lot of false claims. There's scammers out there. I've personally been subject to some of it. So I just want to acknowledge, I know this is a big promise, and maybe you came just out of curiosity, and it might even sound unbelievable to some of you. And I want you to know, I too was skeptical that anything like this was possible after years of hearing the music industry was dead. So I'm just glad that I didn't listen to any of that, and you will be too by the end of this class. So I encourage you to stay until the end. It will be worth your while. Now, just a quick question for you before we dig in. If I promise to give you great content, do I have your permission to take 10 minutes to give you a great offer for you to consider? If that sounds fair, type yes in the chat. Now, this is totally up to you, and I'm not going to do this unless I give you something you can use in your music career today, and only with your permission. Now, I love teaching this stuff, and if you take the knowledge I'm about to teach you and you run with it, there is a lot you can do. So I want to share with you how we can work together at the end. I think I can take you much farther, much faster. So you know that I'm motivated to give you really amazing content right now. So awesome. I'm seeing the chat fill up with yeses. This is awesome. Thank you, Dan. All right. My heart is to truly help change the music industry forever. And that's why both you and I are here right now. Okay. And there's a bonus for everyone here. Just for sticking around to the end, I'm going to give you an additional bonus at the end of this free training right after the Q&A. Okay. So number one is that you don't have to worry about asking me to go back to a slide if you missed something, because you're going to get the slides from this class at the end when you stick around. And number two is I'm going to hook you up with a very important workbook that's going to show you how to find something that we're going to be talking about in this webinar. You're going to have access to download that at the end as well. So very smart decision to be here. I'm proud of you guys for just making the commitment to come. All right, so we're going to have a giveaway, first prize right now, and then the next one is going to happen after the Q&A. So I'm going to ask you a question, and the first person to put in the right answer in the chat wins. Now, you had to be paying attention to the very first email you got from me in your confirmation email when you signed up for this. So I wrote something in there, and I said, somewhere in this email is the answer to the question. Okay. Are you ready? Here's the question. What 3 things from you am I asking for in return for sharing this information? Who is paying attention? What 3 things from you am I asking for in return for sharing this information? Okay, we'll see who can put it in the chat first. Usually we have people scrambling to find their email. Do we have anyone who knows the answer? Let's see. Who knows the answer? If we don't get anyone within the next 60 seconds, Dan, nice try. Nice guesses, guys. Oh, it looks like we have somebody who got it. I think it's Susie. My admins will confirm. Someone posted it to me as a question. It says friend because they didn't type in their name. And so we're going to have to contact you to, we'll have to contact you and get your email, and we will reach out to you. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, we got lots of people. All right, so the answer was number 1, that you show up live, number 2, that you keep an open mind for 60 minutes, and number 3, that you ask me your question at the end. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's talk real quick. I'll give you my 1-minute bio here. I'm not going to bore you for too long. It looks like, that guy's name was Otto. But anyways, who I am, why should you listen to me? Number 1, I'm a stay-at-home mom of 5 kids ages 11 and under. That's just a fun fact for you, because you might think, why is this lady so crazy? Well, I'm apparently, I really am just a fun gal. My husband's laughing right now. Okay, I've been a songwriter, singer, musician my whole life, but I didn't get more serious about it until after I had a family. So I did things completely backwards. Like, you couldn't get more backwards than that. I grew up thinking that my dream was to get signed to an awesome record deal, but that didn't happen. I sent countless emails. I sent my press kits out, snail mail to A&R agents and record companies, and I never heard back from them. And pretty soon I gave up on that whole label idea, and I actually began to get a little depressed, thinking my music was going to have to stay a hobby in my basement and on the computer. Do any of you relate to that? And now here's the thing. When Facebook, YouTube, and some of these other social platforms started taking off, I became very observant. I saw this new online scene emerge for artists, and I had to ask myself, could this be a way for me? Hey, Gabriel from Spain. That's so cool. Wow, we have people all over the world today. Very cool. So anyway, I uploaded my first album release to YouTube and every other artist profile site I could find out there, including SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, you name it. Basically, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Again, that was very disappointing, kind of depressing. And as a result, I started to doubt myself. And I started to ask myself, am I even any good? Do I suck or something? Like, why is my music going nowhere? So I randomly picked up a few listeners on my YouTube tracks. I got a little bit of traffic, like 6 months down the road. And I started to realize that even though this was encouraging, it showed me that I had become a needle in a massive haystack. It also showed me that I had the false belief that if you build it, they will come. I believed that if my music was good and I was truly talented, good things would just happen organically. Surely someone would come across my music and all my dreams would come true. I was obviously very wrong about that. And to make things worse, I didn't have the advantage of touring and making a name for myself at festivals and local shows. As you know, I have a busy family life. So by this point, I realized, okay, I obviously have some problems here. Number one, I had no true fans yet. I had nobody. I started with zero, absolutely ground zero. I had no upper hand. I had nothing given to me whatsoever. Number two was I couldn't tour. That was just a season in my life where I couldn't get on the road. It wasn't realistic for me. And some of you are students. Some of you have careers that you can't just up and leave. You have a job that you can't leave. Some of you are full-time parents. We all have things going on in our lives, and it's not very realistic for many of us to just leave everything and get on a tour bus. So we've got to come up with other solutions. Another thing was I didn't have a lot of money to invest into my music as far as recordings, as far as promotion. I did not have extra money to spend on radio or press releases or any of that. I started out with nothing, you guys. And also, I didn't have a ton of time either. As I said, I was really busy. I had little kids running around in diapers, non-rock stars that sounds. So anything that I was going to do with my music career would have to be on the side whenever I could squeeze it in. So in my case, it was nap time and when the kids were in bed and when my husband would watch them on the weekends. I was also feeling pretty down on myself due to some of these things. I was just feeling discouraged after nothing else worked. I had tried so many things. I'd already poured in hundreds of hours into research and why wasn't it working? I was also feeling like, I don't know if I'm even any good now. And to be honest, I think every single artist wonders that. And I think a lot of us go from one extreme to the other. We can have one day we're like, wow, I'm awesome. And then have another day we're like, I should just quit. You know, this is somewhat part and parcel of being an artist, but especially when you try so many things and nothing gets off the ground, you just really start to wonder. Also, I didn't know how to sell music or anything. Like I didn't want to come off slimy and desperate when I asked people to buy my music. And also, I just felt kind of defeated since everyone in the news and the media just keeps like pounding this thing over and over that the music industry is dead. You know, ever since Napster came out, they just keep repeating that, you know, oh, we're all doomed. So I was feeling pretty down about this whole thing. Do any of you relate to one of these four things? Like, let me know in the chat. Like, do you relate to one or four or all of them? Or because I feel like this is not just me, you know, this is kind of a thing that like so many artists are struggling with. Yeah. I'm seeing in the chat, everyone saying, yes, all of them. Yes, for sure. Yes, I do. Okay. Yeah, and you don't have to have kids to relate to this stuff. This is just the condition of what we're dealing with right now. So what's cool is that I actually had a really awesome light bulb moment. I started spending a lot of time researching and studying what the heck I could do to build my fan base online and generate some income. And I had two motivating factors for this goal. And one was to fulfill the destiny I couldn't ignore. It didn't matter that I had kids. It didn't matter that I didn't have any time or didn't have much money at all to invest into this stuff. I couldn't ignore the fact that I was born to create music and that it was in my blood and I had to get it out to the world. I couldn't ignore it. And I believe that you, every one of you here right now, if you're listening to this, you have a calling in music. And it doesn't matter. I don't care if it's full-time, part-time, as a hobby. It doesn't matter. If music has been gifted to you, you actually have a duty and an obligation to bring that to the world, because it's not just meant for you. Your music is meant for others. Like, yeah, we have our selfish reasons for creating it. I personally go batshit crazy if I don't like create music for a while. Just ask my husband. Like I turn into like a really grumpy person if I go for too long. But so that's the selfish reason. But the other reason is for the people that are meant to hear it. We're supposed to affect the world. It makes the world a better place. And I don't care if you're creating grindcore or whatever kind of music you make, it makes someone's day. And total rabbit trail. Some music, it doesn't even matter like how heavy it is, if it's like rap or rock, like it literally can improve the serotonin release in your brain. When you're listening to music that makes you feel better, it's like an antidepressant. And so I just want to encourage you that you're here today for a very specific reason, and you're supposed to be hearing this right now. Some of you needed to hear that. Let me know if in the chat, if that just encouraged you. And the second reason that I know I needed to do this was I wanted to self-fund my music. I didn't want to be completely broke all the time. I wanted to be able to actually create albums based on the money that I was making. And then I also wanted to bring in a second income to my family if that was even possible. So here's the thing. This is the awesome thing that happened to me. One day I came across a random article by a random guy who's now famous for writing this random piece, and maybe you've heard of it. It's called 1,000 True Fans, 1,000 True Fans, by a guy named Kevin Kelly, who's an Amish-looking guy who is the founder of Wired magazine. Now, in this article, Kevin talked about the power of having 1,000 diehard fans. He called them 1,000 true fans. And his idea was with 1,000 true fans, you can actually have a pretty good life. He said, quote, "It's simple. You just need 1,000 fans to pay you $100 each. And then you have $100,000 a year." I thought about that, and he was right. At the time, I didn't even care about making $100,000. Back then, if you just showed me a way to make $10,000 or $20,000 consistently as a musician, you would have been my best friend. I'd been like, oh my goodness. So I thought about how I could break this down even more. I was like, okay, there's other ways you can split this pie. So for example, it could be 1,000 true fans who spend $100 per year. That's $100,000. Or maybe you only have 500 true fans who spend $200 a year. That's $100,000. This is easy to do, by the way, not difficult, especially if you add live shows into the mix. Or you could have 2,000 fans who pay $50 a year. That's $100,000. You could also have 3,000 super fans who maybe spend $50 a year. That's $150,000 a year. This number is not hard to reach, my friends. It's not hard. Or even, what if you only had 1,000 true fans who spent $25 a year from you? That's one t-shirt. Would you complain? That's $25,000. What would you do with that? What would you do with that money? Tell me in the chat what your first goal is. What's your first goal? Now, it could be an income goal, or it could just be like the number of super fans that you want to focus on. Because I got to tell you, the way I got to 6 figures in my music business was, this was the first thing I did. I decided, how many fans do I want and how much do I want them to spend? And I wrote it down on paper, my goal. And so that's your very first thing that you need to do right now. If you don't have a pen, type it in your phone or somewhere. What's your first goal? Do you want it to be 1,000 fans paying $100 a year? Tell me in the chat what your first goal is. I'm seeing 1,000 fans, 1,000 spending 50. Okay, that's awesome. Like even just 50 grand a year would be awesome, right? At least 1,000 fans, I'm hearing. Increasing your fan base, having people resonate with your music. 3,000 fans times 100. Okay, good. This is your first step. If you took nothing else, like we could end the webinar now because you just decided something so pivotal, so important that if you were to go away now and just do that, and just focus on that, you would have gotten so much value from this webinar. But I'm not going to stop here. I mean, I have so much to give you, but that changed everything for me. So ever since I read Kevin's article, I put all my focus into that one thing, just finding my 1,000 true fans. And here's what happened. After I read his article, everything I did shifted. And I started only doing those things that would build my audience of 1,000 true fans. I started learning social media. What do I got to do? I don't want to spend my life on it, but what do I got to do? I started building my email list, and I did a couple of crowdfunding campaigns, and I put his theory to the test. And to my shock and delight, my second crowdfunding campaign, I raised over $27,000 in one campaign for an album I hadn't even written yet. This is crazy. I was earning royalties from digital sales, and I was selling CDs all the time. This was a life-changing decision. What you just did now, writing out how many fans you want, how much you want them to spend per year. That changed everything. That was a pivotal moment for me, and I hope it's a pivotal moment for you now. You don't see it yet, but you will look back and go, that one time when I was on that webinar with that Leah chick and I wrote down that goal, that was a pivotal moment for me. Now, months later, things only began to snowball slowly but surely from there. So with much hard work and continued dedication, over time, I crossed into that 6-figure per year mark. So here's an example. Apologies if it's blurry at all. In 2015, I made nearly $35,000 just from this one stream of income. This is my digital sales and royalties. This is my TuneCore statement, by the way. And so you'll see there's the 35,000. And this was only one of 5 streams of income I had set up, which was incredible. I mean, if some of you made $35,000 from your music income, some of you, that would change your entire life. That would change your entire music career. Some of you, that would affect your marriage. That would affect your family life. Like, it's a big deal when you bring that income in 1 year just from one stream of income. So I was over the moon excited when that happened. Now, since then, I've just had my Facebook page has really taken off. Here's my crowdfunding campaign. I've got close to 2,000 4- and 5-star reviews on my page now that are like genuine from real raving fans. It's awesome. And this is my September statement for my Shopify account. This is where I sell all my merchandise. At the moment, I'm doing between $5,000 and $10,000 a month just in merchandise as an online recording artist. Again, this is just one of the 5 streams of income I have going on. It is truly a pinch me moment. This is insane. And it's not luck. It's not a fluke. Everything I've done here and what I continue to do is because I work hard and I always have a student mentality and I have a humble spirit and I'm always willing to learn more. So I encourage you to have that same humble spirit and be willing to learn more. And that's why I want you to come here with an open mind, because I want to show you this is possible. And it's possible if a stay-at-home mom with 5 kids who doesn't tour, who's strictly a recording artist, who strictly promotes online can do this. What are you capable of? You have so much untapped potential. Like, you have more time on your hands than I do. I'm running my music career. I have Savvy Musician Academy. I love teaching as well. I've got my family life. You have more time on your hands. What can you accomplish that I can't even accomplish? You could go beyond what I've done. So this is incredible. I have redefined my dream. Okay. And what that means for me. I'm living it. It used to be that, oh, I wanted a record deal and that was the dream. But now my dream is different. Now my dream means that I have dedicated diehard superfans who can't wait to buy my next album. That's the dream. They're drooling for anything I make. That's the dream. They regularly buy merchandise from me. They join my fan clubs. They show unbelievable support. That's the dream, and I'm living the dream. So you've got to define your dream. What's your dream now? It's got to probably change and shift from what you thought it was when you were a kid. And that's going to completely change your paradigm of what you do from today forward. Since then, I've even had to hire a virtual assistant to help me part-time, just to process my orders and answer fan mail in an everyday situation, help with some of this admin because it's gotten too overwhelming in a good way. And you will get there too. And when you get to that point, I can teach you a lot about how to hire the right person to help you, even if it's just a friend in some of those tasks. So what's awesome is I feel like a legitimate music business, because it is. It's like my own label. I work for myself when I want, how I want. What would that mean to you? Tell me in the chat right now what that would mean to you if you could get there. Can you imagine being there right now? Because a lot of this is going to come down to your belief if you can do it, if it's possible. Because like they say, whether you think you can or you can't is exactly what the outcome will be, right? If you think you can, you will. If you think you can't, you won't. It's exactly it. Sammy says life goals. Tom says that's the dream. And I don't want you to think that my dream is your dream. It's going to be different for you. But Chelsea said it would mean the whole world. Absolutely. I know how that feels. It is the most amazing feeling ever. Not only to just have fans that love you and appreciate you, but just give you your talent and your music the recognition that it deserves. They recognize your talent, your gifts. Like, I know my music's not everybody's cup of tea, right? It's not going to be my grandma's cup of tea. It's not going to be the guy down the road's cup of tea, but for them, it is their cup of tea and they love it. But that's all that matters, right? And what's awesome is that it's not limited to my local town. I've opened up the entire world for my fan base. The whole world is waiting to discover your music if they know how to find you. But don't think for 1 second that that came easy to me. Don't think for 1 second that I didn't screw up every single thing along the way, because I want you to know I did. I spent hours uploading my music to every artist profile site out there, SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, all of that. I recently even deleted my SoundCloud because it wasn't doing me any good. Nothing against it. But I don't make money from SoundCloud, so that's why. I got scammed by artist services out there that promised me exposure and licensing deals, all that kind of stuff that never amounted to anything. And I don't mean, some of them are legit out there, right? But some of them are not. So I think all of us have turned a little bit, we've become a little bit jaded along the way, and for good reason. I spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort just trying to get fans, just trying to get exposure, just trying to get someone listening to my music. If you have felt similar or if any of this resonates with you, let me know in the chat. Just say yes. Then I'll know that you're resonating with this. I know how it feels, and I know what you're going through. Yeah. Carlos says, I'm totally ready. Awesome. Now, I want to encourage you that if you were thinking of taking your music to the next level, now is the time to do it. Now is the time to do it. The IFPI, it's kind of a research website, they said that in 2016, the global recorded market of music grew by 5.9%, which doesn't sound like much, but it's actually the fastest rate of growth since they began tracking this whole stuff, tracking the market back in 1997. This is huge. And a few more fun facts for you, okay? Here's some fun facts, and don't check out on me if you're just like, if you don't like statistics, I only have one slide of these, so just bear with me, and it means something really important. Okay, number one, digital revenues. Digital revenues overall grew by 17.7% to $7.8 billion, driven by a sharp 60% growth in streaming revenue, the largest growth in 8 years. And they say that you can't make any money from streaming. Well, you saw I made $35,000 in 2015 just from streaming and online digital revenues. Okay, so clearly you can make some money with streaming. 50% of revenue, here's the breakdown, 50% of revenue is coming from digital and streaming. Okay, so this is going to tell you right now where you should be spending your time. 34% of revenue is still coming from digital sales. So don't think for 1 second that physical is going away. Do CDs still sell? Yes, they do. What about vinyl? And even tapes are coming back. They have a comeback, right? It's kind of like a novelty thing. This is where you should be spending your time. 14% is coming from performance rights. So that's like your touring and live performance. And only 2% comes from sync licensing. This is why I don't spend my time here. This I consider is like the lottery. Some people, if they happen to know the right person, they happen to get in the right film or movie, they can make it big. But that's almost like the old music industry, right? Like only a small percentage of people are going to make it there. So look where you should be spending your time right here. Take a screenshot of this, or Just stay to the end and I'll give you my slides. This is important, okay? This will determine where you are going to spend your time. Now, what does this mean? It means that fans are still consuming music, they're still buying music, and that it's only growing. What's changing is the way they are consuming it. So now is not the time to give up on your music. If you were thinking, I've had so many students come into my programs and they're like, Leah, I was literally just about to give up on my music. I was just about to give up. And I decided to give it one last chance. I'm so glad that I listened to you. I'm so glad that I didn't do that. One of those people was Ted Yoder. Ted Yoder, we're real proud of him. He plays the hammered dulcimer, and he had a video go completely viral on Facebook. He did a Facebook Live in his backyard, even with sketchy internet and everything. And he now has 120 million views on his video. It was the second most watched viral video in all of Facebook in 2016. So, I mean, he said he was just about to give up on his music after like 6 years of really giving it everything. So I want you to know that it's not the time to give up. Don't you dare give up on your music. And if you just are willing to learn a few simple marketing principles, you can ride this amazing wave. Now, it also means that we, the artists, must take responsibility for changing with the way the consumer wants to experience our music. But we don't have to pledge ourselves to be starving and broke the rest of our lives. What it means is we just have to be creative of how we go about this, okay? Being broke and starving artist is a complete myth, not necessary. So if this is all possible, why are so many people failing then? Why? Well, Leah, like, I think some people might be skeptical, like, well, Leah, how are you making it when so many artists out there are struggling, even big artists? Well, first of all, those big artists aren't struggling as bad as you think. Okay, that's number one. But here's the thing. You've been told that you need to be perfect. Okay, that's how it used to be in the old music industry. You had to be both a musician and a model, right? You had to be young. You couldn't have any extra body fat, and you had to be the right age, shape, weight, color, everything, right? But those times have changed. And all you have to do is watch one episode of America's Got Talent and you will see the diversity of people, and fans just love people with talent. They don't care what you look like. It doesn't matter what your age is. We just eat it up because it's relatable. People want something authentic and real. They're tired of all the commercialism. Number two, you were taught that if you work really hard and you play all the gigs possible and you eat, sleep, and breathe your music 24/7, if you do that for 10 to 15 years, maybe, just maybe you have a chance. That is a perfect description of the old music industry. It's the way people used to get discovered, but it's old thinking now and it's outdated. If you still think that way, it is now outdated. And this last one gets me real fired up. The media has told you that you need a record deal to truly succeed. And if you stay independent, no one's going to take you seriously. You're not going to make any money if you're independent. And if you're not signed, you're not a true artist. Which one of these do you relate to the most? Tell me in the chat. This one I fell prey to. I fell prey to that one the most. And also number one for me was personally like, I still feel insecure about that one. I'm still trying to like unbrainwash myself from that. And yes, Matt, I 100% agree. You do need to work hard at it. And you'll never, ever, ever hear me say that there's a magic pill or some like magical way that you will make it work. However, I don't do this. I don't eat, sleep, and breathe my music because I have so many other things going on in my life, nor do I tour and play all the gigs possible. I don't play any gigs, and I am a 6-figure musician. So that is now a myth. I want you to know you are not alone. I have been through this already, and I've come out the other side. So many are experiencing what you are right now. We're in this together. I was where you are until I learned 3 vital secrets that catapulted me to where I am now in my music career. Do you want to know the 3 secrets? You got to type yes in the chat if you want me to share them. I want to make sure you're energized and that you're ready to make a change. If you're ready to make a change, you want to know these 3 things, you got to type yes in the chat. Oh, yes. Awesome. Woo. All right, here we go. Are you ready for this? I'm about to get into some detail, okay? If at any point you're feeling overwhelmed with information, you just let me know and I'll try to make it simpler, but we're going to cover a lot. Here are the 3 secrets I'm going to teach you, and then I'm going to tell you what they are, and then I'll tell you how we figured this out, okay? Secret number 1, how to stand out and attract fans to you like a magnet. This is the very first thing I did. Number 2, how to start automating building your fan base 24/7, 365. I'm building my fan base right this very second, and I'm not even doing anything. Secret number 3, how to create a cash machine from your online music. I'm going to teach you each one of these things, okay? There are 3 phases to becoming a wildly successful online musician. And those 3 secrets have a direct connection to these phases here, okay? Phase number 1 is your artist identity infrastructure. That sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo. I'm going to tell you exactly what this is. Phase number 2 is your fan generation machine. Phase 3 is accelerate and scale. And maybe you're like, WTF, Leah, what are you talking about? I'm going to explain each of these and break them down for you. This is exactly how I built my 6-figure music machine. I'm going to give you every single component. Are you ready? Yes? Here we go. The artist identity infrastructure. The whole focus in this phase is your identity in your music and your organic foundation. You can take a screenshot if you want, but I will give you the slides at the end so you don't miss anything, okay? It's your quality music, your micro niche, your social media and free traffic, building your culture and community, your branding, and learning how to launch music online perpetually. All right, I'm going to break each of these down for you. There's the 3 phases, so we have a lot to cover. Number 1 is your quality music. And by that, I don't mean just like, spending 30 grand on an album. I mean something that moves people's soul, okay? So it's supply and demand, right? This is what you need. Without this component, we're not going to make it very far. We're not going to act like we're some kind of big corporate label where we have millions of dollars to promote something kind of mediocre and still come out profitable, because they can do that. It doesn't matter. No offense if any of you are like Taylor Swift fans or something like that, but there's been, a lot of mediocre pop music that has come out recently, and people even know that it's mediocre, but they still buy it and they still listen to it because the big corporate labels have so much money to put into the promotion that people just get familiar with it, and then they buy it and they listen to it and they stream it all the time simply out of familiarity. Well, we don't have that advantage. We don't have millions of dollars to put towards our music. That's not going to work for us. Our approach has to be a more grassroots movement, which requires high quality music. Does that make sense? Number 2 is the micro niche. This is absolutely pivotal in catapulting my success and will be for you. The whole idea here with a micro niche is that, I think you all know what a niche is, right? Here's the big idea, is that you can either be a small fish in a big pond or the big fish in a small pond. Which would you rather be? Okay. So the internet, Spotify, YouTube, it's a giant ocean with tons of other fish, which is your competition, right? We're competing for eyes and ears. And it's much easier to be successful with a very specific group of high quality fans. Dana says, is it possible to have a few different micro niches and market well within them? You can, although we'll talk about this. And it's actually going to be in a workbook I have for you at the very end. But basically, you don't want your main genres to change too much, or you will confuse your fans. And when you confuse, you'll lose, as they say in the marketing world. So you don't want to confuse people. Your micro niche could change maybe from album to album, but the main theme of your music should kind of remain the same. So you want to ask yourself, what's your unique twist? Right? What makes you different? Why do you sound different from everybody else? Or how do you sound different? It's something that's got to set you apart. And if you don't feel like anything sets you apart, maybe you need to dig a little deeper in your actual songwriting. My micro niche is Celtic / fantasy metal. It's a real thing. If I go and Google it or type it in YouTube, it exists. So I'm not just making it up out of thin air. All right. And I actually have a workbook for you guys that you will get at the very end of this webinar so that you can help identify your micro niche. I have a very specific way to do it. Next is mastering your social media, which is free traffic. That's what free traffic. And here's the thing. If you don't master your free platforms, paid advertising will not work. There's a lot of musicians who try to do Facebook ads and stuff, and they're like, well, Facebook ads don't work. Well, no, the problem is that you don't know what you're doing with social media, right? You haven't been taught. You kind of like see these available tools, but you don't know how to make it work. And the whole goal of social media is not to just sell. That will annoy the crap out of people. The goal is to build a culture around your music. And we're going to talk about that next. But here's a tip for you that if you were to just like take this away now, you would have you would know what to do. Okay. Number one, anytime you post anything, I don't care where it is, what platform, it must do one of three things. It must either entertain, it must inspire, or it must inform or educate in some way. So that could be a photo. That could be a silly video of you. It could be a Facebook Live. It could be a quote. It could be an article that has something to do with your music within a certain theme, okay? So must do one of those three things for your audience or you will lose them or it won't get pushed into the newsfeed. Nobody will see it because nobody cares. It must be interesting to people. How do you beat the wacky algorithms right now where they're reprioritizing the newsfeed? You post better stuff. You post better stuff. You post more interesting things and you learn how to master free traffic. Okay. Next is culture and community. This is another huge thing. When I figured this out, my music career, like I doubled my sales. Culture and community. It has a lot to do with your micro niche. It's based around that. And that's why you've got to figure that out first. You can't even jump to advanced marketing things. You don't even bother trying to do a Facebook ad if you don't know what your culture is, if you don't know what your micro niche is, it's not going to work. So this has a lot to do with what your music is all about. It has a lot to do with some common interests and hobbies that you like that has a lot to do with your music. So you got to think of your music as like a theme or like a soundtrack to something. What is it a soundtrack to? You know, if it's country music, I don't mean to be cliche or anything, but like if it's country music, there's a culture around country music. There absolutely is. And depending on what subgenre of country music, if it's like, you know, the classic stuff, you know, there's a culture around that. Like I don't mean to stereotype, but just, you know, like rednecks and beer and cowboy boots and horses and ranches and Texas and all of that. Now, again, like that's just, you know, and I'm not an expert in country music, but I understand the culture that comes with that territory. Now, if you have a different micro niche, your culture is going to be unique and different, right? If you happen to browse around on my music page, you're going to notice I only post something about my music or merchandise 10 to 20% of the time. This is a massive secret to music success. Okay. Figuring out your culture, by the way, I mean, you got to test, you got to experiment. I have some very specific processes to help you learn what will work for your audience. But it's very much about you and what you represent. Let me know if that makes sense in the chat. Let me know if this is interesting to you as well. Is this interesting? Did you know that you should be building a culture with your music? Because I didn't. I did not know that. And just in the last couple of years, when I started doing that, things really took off. Because now people are coming to my page and they're buying my music because of what it represents. And because they feel like it's bigger than the music, it's more than the music, right? Ryan says, I never thought of it, but it makes sense. Mo said, absolutely, I had a feeling, but I didn't know how. Yoko says, yes, very interesting. Very cool. Absolutely. Sammy says, it helps organize what you're trying to promote. It does. And then when you go to promote like your music or merchandise or something, it kind of just slips right in there along with everything else you're doing. So it doesn't even seem out of place. You know what I'm saying? Jordan says that's so smart. You know, I learned this stuff, guys. I learned everything I'm teaching you. I did not study the music business to learn this. I did not. They don't teach any of this stuff in the music schools. They don't teach us at Berkeley. They don't teach us at any of those. I learned this from studying business, all the boring stuff that musicians don't want to study. I just happen to love it. I just happen, like, I read business books for fun because I just enjoy it. I'm definitely have a right and left side of my brain where I'm totally creative. And then I also love just reading and studying. So this is where I learned all this from, and you just wouldn't get this anywhere else. Next is branding. Okay. So I want you to understand that your brand is not your logo. Your logo is a very, very small part of that. Your brand has a lot to do with your micro niche. It has a lot to do with your culture and your community. It has to do with who you are, what your music is all about. And believe it or not, your brand is actually a feeling. I think that as a musician, you'll be able to pick this up really quick. I think you know where I'm going with this, okay? Your branding is a feeling. And so that means if you go to my website, you're going to feel something. It could be good. It could be bad. It's going to hit you a certain way. It's going to give you an impression. That impression it gives you is now what you associate with my music, with my brand. So what you want to do with the goal of branding is to create a consistent feeling across all media, across all platforms, wherever you are. Every time they do see your logo, they should associate that with the feeling you want to project. Does that make sense? Because you may not have known that either. I didn't either. And when I got this sorted out, when I dialed this in, it really enhanced my results. This is cool. Jeremy says, wow, I've never heard this. I'm seeing someone ask, what if you have several different styles? I know so many musicians and myself, I know we're very experimental. We don't like to be boxed into one thing. I really suggest that you get one off the ground before you start doing a whole bunch of things. Like, you don't want to be a jack of all trades. Really specialize in one thing, get really well known for that one thing, and then you can be creative and branch out from there. Okay. Launching your music online is one of the next most important things that you can do to really have a lot of success online. There's a right and a wrong way to launch your music online. You need an audience to launch your music to, okay? You don't want to rely on hope marketing tactics like uploading your music to the internet and then hoping people will find you. That's what I used to do, and that's why I didn't get any results. You know, if you have no music to start, you're starting at ground zero, you don't even have a recording, well, then we start with the music, right? And we'll build an audience from the music. But if you have music out there, now it's time to build your audience, right? Until you're ready for your next release. But here's what I want you to take away about launching your music online is that, number one, real marketing is predictable. That means that you can kind of project what you think you'll make based on the numbers. Okay, and I know we're not always wired, not all of us are wired to be number people, but there's some simple numbers that you can know to know how it's going to turn out. Number two is it's repeatable. That means if I do this 1 month and then I want to repeat this the next month, I kind of know what the result will be. And then it's also scalable, which means when something's working well, we can turn up the dial, we can increase, our ad spend or whatever it is we're doing, and we'll get more and bigger results. So launching music online and knowing how to do that, there's 4 phases that are very, very important to do this. Allow us to actually relaunch old music to new people like every single day. If you think about it, people who are just discovering you today, they don't really care or know they don't care that you had an album come out a year ago or 5 years ago, even 30 years ago. It's brand new to them. So that's what matters. So here are all 6 things that need to happen in your foundation, okay? Your quality music, your micro niche, mastering social media, mastering your culture and community, mastering your branding, and launching music online. All of these things are actually a module in my online musician course. I'll talk to you about that later, but each one of these things are covered. They're each a module where I go into the nitty gritty of the whole 9 yards of how to set all of that up. Here's one of my students. We have just hundreds and hundreds of students that write us all the time. I'm very proud of them. Andy Watt said, while using the system, I developed a strong Facebook fan base. I've converted some of them into email list members, which is huge. And I sold 300 copies so far of my latest album, and it's more than paid for the course. I'm calling that a win. Heck yes, that's a win. And this is becoming the norm, guys. You should be able to sell hundreds of copies of your album online. You should be able to do this. Let's talk about the second phase in becoming a six-figure musician, if that's what you want to do. The second phase is the fan generation machine. Don't be intimidated by this stuff, okay? I'm going to break it down for you. The whole focus after you've mastered that first phase is now we're getting into automation and audience building on kind of an autopilot way. And it's where we get into things like paid traffic, list building. So we're building our email list and we're getting really good at email marketing. We're mastering copywriting, video marketing, and other online marketing strategies. I'm going to break each of these down for you, but I want you to know this is the promised land for musicians in this digital age. This is where you're going. Most of you aren't here yet, but I will help you get there. I will help you get there. So you don't have to figure this stuff out by yourself. I essentially have a machine turned on for my music career that locates and attracts these super fans. They come into my system, they discover me, and a lot of them will buy my music all within the same day. And then they're writing to express their excitement and just appreciate. They write me an email or Facebook Messenger. When you get to this stage, making like 30 to 50,000 a year is not far out of reach at all. When you consider all the different avenues that you can bring an income, which I teach you about in the Online Musician, it's your digital sales, your merchandise, fan clubs, all different methods that we have going. Okay, so let's get into the first thing is paid traffic. Are you guys getting overwhelmed yet, or is this still really interesting to you? Let me know if this is still interesting to you. Let me know, guys. Are you good? You good? Should I keep going? I think there's sometimes a bit of a lag in the chat. Okay, good. Okay, Steven says, this is so good. This is great. Very interesting. Keep it going. Interesting. Still with you. Yes. Okay. Hey, if you're listening and you are browsing on a different internet browser or you are texting your friend, come back to me right now. Come back to me. Okay, because things are going to get saucy right now, okay? We're talking about paid traffic specifically. I want to talk about Facebook ads, okay? The first piece of this machine is paid traffic, because if you have mastered your free traffic, which is social media and some of the other things that we do, now paid traffic is going to work. It's going to work. You've mastered your micro niche. If you know your culture and your community and you know your branding and you know all those things, now it's worth it for you to invest into paid traffic. It makes a lot of sense. That's how it's going to work for you. So this could be anything like press releases and Facebook and all of that. But Facebook deserves its own category. Yes, because of how powerful they are. It's a big part of my machine. It works amazingly well when you've mastered the artist identity infrastructure. It is like building your fan base on steroids. Like, it's crazy. But you've got to do proper research first to make it successful. And a lot of this is based on if you've mastered basically the online musician side of it, right? The artist identity infrastructure. If you have mastered that, that's how it will work for you. And you've got to get that training so you don't waste your money. But you have a huge untapped potential right now for exposure and sales using Facebook ads if you know what you're doing. Man, it's powerful. Next is building your email list. Oh my goodness. Like, basically, let me put this in a real nutshell version for you. If you don't have an email list, you are not in business. You do not have a music business. You do not have a music career online if you don't have an email list. That's how powerful it is. Again, we could end the webinar now and you'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going to go build my email list then. But I want to go further with this. You need to be building a highly targeted list of potential fans and super fans. One of the big reasons is you don't own your social profiles or your followers' contact information, right? If you got banned from Facebook, if Facebook shut down, if anything happened and you've been building your audience on Twitter or whatever platform it is you like, you can't legally get their information. You just can't get their information. You have no way to stay in contact with them. Plus, you are subject to Facebook's terms of service, which, they're getting kind of crazy right now. And remember MySpace? Some people had millions of followers on MySpace and then poof, like it was like gone into oblivion. So we don't want that to happen. Email is actually here to stay. It's not going anywhere. You use it every single time you ever buy anything off of Amazon or anything. You use your email for transactional emails, especially. So it's cross-generational. Your grandma has an email. My kids have an email. Like it's still here to stay. So I don't want you to think like, oh, it's so outdated. We definitely use it. And you need to think the bigger your list, the bigger your next album launch will be, or your next crowdfunding campaign, or your next single, or your next anything you want to do. Anything you want to do. You want to build a nice size list because it is. I want to emphasize like it is about the numbers, but it's about the quality. You definitely want to build a quality list. Don't ever like buy fake anything. Don't ever buy fake likes. Don't buy fake lists or emails. Like don't do any of that stuff. You want quality over quantity. Otherwise, there's no point. But your email is like digital real estate. The bigger, more targeted list you build, the more potential you have for your next album launch. Okay, next is we actually want to get into email marketing. So building your list is one thing, but then what do you do with all those emails? What are you supposed to do with them? How do you convert them? How do you get sales? This is where we build relationships with people that's focused on long-term rather than short-term, okay? I have like a 12-week email series where I send potential fans through a series of quests and they get to know me and they understand what I'm about and they kind of buy into my culture, or they don't and they unsubscribe and you actually want that. If you're sending emails to people, kind of getting them into who you are, what you're all about, and they unsubscribe, that's a good thing. You don't want to be paying for people to be on your list if they're not really interested in you. So for me, I make it a fun experience. So you've got to think of email as an experience and a platform for building relationships. And in the end, you want to be able to increase the LTV, which is the lifetime value of your fans or / customers, right? So the lifetime value means how many times or like how much money they will spend with you eventually. So maybe the first time someone buys $1 single from you, and then, they get to know you some more, and then they buy that $10 album. And then they get to know you some more. And then you released, then you have a crowdfunding campaign going and it comes with like this bundle. You have like this cool t-shirt and a signed thing and a thing for $100. And they're like, wow, gosh, I really love this music. And they're going to spend now $100 with you. This is how you make more sales, is you slowly warm people up. You increase their lifetime value of how much they will spend with you over a period of time. And that requires a long-term relationship, which we do through email marketing. Am I going too fast, guys? Is this making sense to you? Just let me know. I want to make sure that you're getting this because there's a lot. I know there's a lot of information here. But next is copywriting. By copywriting, I don't mean protecting your song from someone else stealing it. I'm talking about the art and science of persuasive text. Art and science of persuasive text. Okay, do you guys remember the ad that you clicked on in order to come to this webinar, or the email you opened up to come to this webinar? The headline you saw and the text you saw, that's all called copy. It's copy. In the marketing world, it's just called copy. It's a noun, person, place, or thing, right? It's not like like in other words, some people would call it like a verb, like copy, like, oh, you're copying me. That's not the same thing. Copywriting is basically, if you were to write an email to your fans, it's the subject line in your email. You are writing copy. It's the email. It's the call to action when you say, hey, hey guys, my album is now available. Buy now. That's copy. You're copywriting. Okay. So it's your ability to persuade people to take action. You've got to motivate your fans. How do you do that? Guess what? It's a skill you can learn, which is very good news. Here's the thing though. You can't avoid it. You cannot, as a musician today on the internet, avoid copywriting. You're either going to be great at it or mediocre or you're stuck at it, but you can't avoid it. You've got to send that email. You've got to be on social media. You do need to write a press release. You do need to write a title in your YouTube video. You do need to write a description in your YouTube videos. All of that is copywriting. You got to know how to do this. And if you don't know, I could teach you. And I'm really good at it, by the way. I'm super awesome because you are here and I wrote the copy. So there you go. And also, you don't have to be super smart. You don't have to have even passed English class. I don't care if you dropped out of school in the 8th grade. You can be a good copywriter. Some of the world's best copywriters did not graduate high school. It's actually not about grammar at all. And the grammar Nazis don't like copywriters right now because it has a lot to do with being very conversational. All right, next is video marketing. Video marketing, okay? Video, as you probably suspect already, it's becoming the most dominant form of media everywhere. We've got to learn how to use this to our advantage to understand, and we got to understand the best practices to grow our audience, both organically and paid. And there's many, many ways you can build your list with video. You can market with video. You can make sales with video. You've got to become very, very comfortable with video. You can be on video, but there's also ways like if you're super camera shy, there's other things we can do where you're not on video, lyric videos, even just posting a lot more video on your news feed, on your page, for example. You've got to get very comfortable with video, and there's a lot we can do. So I've used it recently to build my email list. I released a cover song, and it was kind of like a hybrid of like a music video and a lyric video together, and it worked really, really well. Next is ninja marketing strategies, ninja stuff. Okay, there's a lot that I can teach you here. One of the cool things we can do that I want to let you know about is retargeting or remarketing. This is when you keep seeing the same ad all the time, like over and over and over again. Maybe that happened to you for this webinar. You're like, dang it, I keep seeing that ad. Okay, I'll sign up. Where basically you just see the same thing popping up all the time, and then you finally take action. Well, we can do that with our music. And the reason why is because studies show that people need to see something sometimes 5 to 8 times before taking action. It's, people are distracted. It's not that they're not interested in what you do. It's not that they're not interested in your music. It's not that they think that you suck. It's that they're busy. People see an average of 3,000 commercial advertisements per day. And so that means you have to become a little more savvy. You have to become just a little more skilled in some of these basic things. Yes, some of it can get a little complex, but a lot of it's basic. I am not a technical person. I am not a techie. You just ask my husband or anybody who knows me. I'm not a techie enough. I've been able to figure this stuff out. I know that you can figure out this stuff too. But we can create really neat things like lookalike audiences where Facebook will take the audience of someone who watched our video, like they keep track of this. It's like, hey, if these people watched our video 75%, let's go find more people who are just like them on Facebook and create an audience for her. Or let's take the people who have engaged on my page and let's create a lookalike audience for them. Or let's take your email subscribers. I can upload my list of email subscribers that I have to Facebook, and they will create an audience that looks like those people. Because on Facebook, the algorithms kind of track everything we do, right? It tracks what we click on, what we like, what we purchase through the platform. And so Facebook can tell, oh, these group of people made these actions. Let's go find more people like that. And so as creepy as it kind of sounds, it's an incredible tool in marketing. And imagine what you could do with that as a musician. Oh my goodness. By the time musicians, the majority of them realize that they should be doing this, it'll be too late. Everything will have already changed. And you who are listening to this right now, if you decide to work with me, you'll already be like miles ahead of everybody else. So this is very important. Okay. So here we go. Just a quick little recap of the fan generation machine phase. This comes after the artist identity infrastructure. It comes up after that, okay? You don't want to jump to this stuff right away because, like I said, if you haven't mastered your micro niche and your free traffic and your culture and your community, if it's not working well from you, if you can't make sales from that yet, this stuff is not, you're just not ready for it yet, but you're going to be ready for this. And when you get there, it's going to work like gangbusters. All right. And by the way, each one of these is a module inside of my super fan system course, and that's in the fan generation machine phase. Okay. So I go into great depth. If I spent this time explaining all the how-tos of every single one of them, we would be here for 2 months. We really would. But I want to give you an overview. Like, you can definitely leave here with all this great information and do something with this. So one of the really encouraging things I think I want you to see is that because all of this stems from good business practices in general, how you can apply this even outside of your music career, whether you're in a job now or you're in a career or you have a business or whatever it is you do. One guy, and we have several people applying our stuff, but Ryan said, I've been applying all I'm learning to both my guitar teaching business and launching my music. And my teaching has taken off since I've been promoting and targeting my ads. And my student videos have not only doubled my student base, but I've earned my badge from lessons.com, and I'm recognized as one of the best teachers in my state. Still pushing this down. I'm ready to start working on my music more now that my business is blowing up. His business was blowing up because of what he took here and applied. And we have just tons of people doing this. It's really, really exciting. The third phase, and I won't spend a ton of time here because I don't want to overwhelm you, but this is the third strategic phase that you are going to work toward. Now, you're not here yet, but this is your future. I just want to cast some vision for you because this is where successful artists are going to end up. At this point, you're becoming quite addicted to marketing your music. And I do warn you now, fair warning, all of this stuff is very addictive. Like, if you were playing Candy Crush before, whatever, that's going out the window. You're going to be obsessed with marketing your music because it's so fun. When you see people responding to you, there's like just no feeling like it. So at this point, you're getting into a lot more just advanced marketing and advertising. You're getting into kind of like an e-commerce style of pushing your merchandise online. That's really what I'm getting into now, why I have such high numbers in my merchandise store. I'm getting into messenger marketing, which is Facebook bots, which are super fun. And I just get a ton of engagement, and my merch sales like doubled overnight just from using that. Again, this is super advanced. You don't want to get into that yet until you master your culture and community and micro niche and all of that. At this point, you're making a steady income and you're investing into your business. So if you make $10, you're putting at least $5 back into your business so you can grow it. I mean, that's exactly what business means. And at this point, you are scaling your music business. And so, many of my students, they're still working up to this phase. And this is the phase I'm in right now. And I will continue to be in this phase. And, I always go back to phase 1 and phase 2. It's not like you graduate from phase 1 and phase 2 and you're like, oh, I'm done that now. No, it's always a cycle. Every time I create a new album, I always go back to the drawing board. I'm like, hey, okay, I got to look at my micro niche. I got to look at my culture. I got to look at all those things, make sure I'm still aligned. And so, this is an exciting place as to what you can do in the future. Letitia said, I finally have a clue as to how to be a successful independent musician and actually make money from it. I've always worked so hard on the creative side, and I fell down on the business and marketing side. Leah has filled in the blanks for me and given me information that not even a 12,000 vocal course has given me. So thanks again, Leah. You are welcome, Letitia. So just a quick recap for you. You now know all my music career secrets. You have every single component that I have used to build up to 6 figures. And I'm growing it every single year, even still strictly as a recording artist, as a stay-at-home mom. I run Savvy Musician Academy. So music for me is like, I'm still doing this on the side. I don't put 40 hours a week into my music business or anything like that. But we learned that there is hope. I really hope you come away with that. We learned that the music industry is about to explode. We learned that to make it in the new music industry means redefining the dream. We learned that succeeding means first starting with that foundation, your artist identity, okay? And then moving towards automating the fan building process, then ramping up the sales after you're fully equipped. After you know what you're doing, that's when you ramp it up. And we learned that anyone with talent and determination can do this. If you don't have determination, you're not going to go far anyways. So only people who are really serious and really determined are going to make it. They're going to be able to do this. And we saw several case studies of students who are doing this very thing now. When I figured all this stuff out, it was not organized or compiled like this. In fact, I found absolutely nothing that exists online that's anything like this. So, hey guys, let me ask you, I know we had a limited time. I wanted to respect that. And given the time we had, did I do a good job today of giving you good information that if you just left right now, that allows you to see what you could do with your music? Let me know how I did. Just let me know in the chat by saying yes, because I promised I would ask you your permission to share with you. So let me know if I did all right. Cool, Jess says outstanding. Dal says, yes, ma'am. Cheryl says yes. Matt says fantastic, yes. Okay, awesome. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you guys got something out of this. I mean, it's a lot of information to take in, but you have a high level view of exactly what you need to be doing. I made this slide in advance. Awesome. So I think you guys realize that what I've shown you today is a small part of a much bigger plan, but I wanted to give you as much as I could in about an hour. So I wanted you to see this from that high level viewpoint so you can understand the potential you have that is completely untapped. Your potential right now is untapped. So I want to introduce to you a few of our students that I'm really proud of. Ted Yoder, which I mentioned earlier, he's awesome, man. We're really proud of him. Maybe you recognize him. He did this live video in his backyard with the hammer dulcimer. He said after 6 years of very slow growth, we had only 915 fans on our email list. In 3 months of joining our program, we grew our email list to over 4,000 fans. He has over this amount now, over 265,000 Facebook likes, 14,000 YouTube subscribers. We also had a video we did in our backyard go viral. Within 3 days, it received over 50 million views, making it to the second most popular video on Facebook. And within 24 hours, we were hearing from superfans everywhere. If that's not a great return on investment, I don't know what is. And just so you guys know, I will never take credit for your accomplishments. I don't take credit for his accomplishments, but he has told me, Leah, if I hadn't joined your programs, I wouldn't have even done it. I wouldn't have done the Facebook Live in my backyard. So the fact that, he's been able to do that and just propel his music career right before he was ready to give up, I'm so honored to even have just any part of that at all. I'm so honored to be your guide. Taylor Mesplay said, I've been a recording artist for over 20 years. It's been increasingly difficult. You guys relate. SMA has been an incredible resuscitation of my hope as well as my recording career. I'm starting to see some incredible results. I've made more money in the last month with the sale of recorded music than in the last several years combined, and it's only picking up every day. Thank you, Leah. And Ty Richards, gotta love his photo there. It's awesome. He said, I'm an artist, a musician, a producer, and before I started being a musician, I had no plan. I had a bunch of songs done, recorded, but nothing mixed, nothing ready to send out to the world. Months later, I have songs done. And when I started, I had 50 fans who were friends, not really fans. Now I have about 10,000 fans, and all people who really love my genre and my music. This is all due to this class. I've been doing music all my life, and for the first time, I have real fans. My micro niche is now defined. I know who I am. I've had my own business, and I was horrible at this stuff when it came to the music, so I highly recommend this class. So I want to ask you, are you motivated? Do you think that learning this system is something that can work for you? Type yes in the chat if it is. Pretend, like if money was no object at all, is this something you need to be doing? Is this something you need to be doing? Definitely. Yes. That's good. It's definitely something you need to be doing. Bruce says, yes, I'm motivated. 1,000%. Okay, good. Now, imagine your future as a musician. If you can't imagine these things, like we have to stop now, but if you can imagine these things, this is an incredible pivoting moment for you. Imagine what life will be like when you know how to attract fans to you 365 days a year. What will life be like when you don't have to worry if your next album is going to sell? What will life be like when you are actually famous within your niche to a small but loyal fan base? What will life be like getting the recognition that your music deserves from people who are moved by it and appreciate it? What will life be like when you don't have to sell your fans anything, but your system does it for you? And what will life be like when you make your first $20,000 to $30,000 in online music sales? How would that change your life? How would that change your music career? If you can imagine this happening, then it is possible, and you know that I can help you get there. I want to introduce to you the Savvy Musician Academy Tribe. This is a family set situation, but this is a complete step-by-step system to create quality music, launch your music, and then market your music online the right way to help you create a sustainable income through your talent, explode your fan base online, and fulfill your calling as a musician. That's pretty awesome. But we have two tiers. We have the foundational level, which a lot of you need right now. That's the SMA Tribe. And then we have an advanced level, which includes the foundational level, and it's the SMA Tribe Pro. And I'll just show you the difference between the two. Here's what you get with Tribe. You're going to get that full online musician course that we talked about, where you master your micro niche, your quality music, your processes for all of this stuff. It's 6 modules that would take you through that first phase, your artist identity infrastructure. This is everything. If you want to launch and propel an online music career in this day and age, you've got to start with these modules, this phase. It will teach you how to create quality music your fans will adore. You will figure out your why, your goals, and a success plan that works for you. You will identify your micro niche, which is the key to making all of this work. You will create your music brand and your image. You will create a social media marketing plan that will drive that free traffic. You will learn how to launch music online the right way in 4 strategic phases. And 2 of them, most musicians have no idea about, and that's why it never goes very far. You will learn how to build a buzz and create momentum even after your launch. Or you're also going to learn how to relaunch your old music. So in addition to all of that stuff, there's also a private forum of musicians on the same path as you. So we're not on Facebook. This is a private forum. So it's very like everybody's together, and it's a private area. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, is anyone going to see my questions and stuff? There's a monthly coaching Q&A day. We have monthly student reviews and hot seats where I can review your stuff. If you want me to take a look at your website and your Facebook page and just help you through whatever you're going through at the moment. There's monthly student challenges, there's rewards, and also you get discounts to our other programs. Here's what you get with Tribe Pro. You actually get everything we just talked about. So you get the online musician, all of the forum stuff, but you're also going to get the Superfan System course, which is the 6 modules that will take you through the second phase. So you're also going to do the fan generation machine phase, okay? So it's very, very important that you master that first one, but then you can move right on along into the second phase. You will learn audience research and getting inside your fans' heads. You're going to learn copywriting for musicians. It's a little more tricky than any other industry, and this is why it's taken me so much time, and I put this together for you. I will teach you how to speak and write magic words that will get your fans to buy your music. You will learn email marketing, which is the art of building lifetime relationships with your fans. You're going to learn how to build your email list, and you're going to learn all about those sexy numbers and the data that will really propel you to the next level. There's certain things you definitely need to know. How to create beautiful landing pages that convert hundreds of new potential fans every single week. And I also have a whole module just on advanced Facebook ads for list building and selling a ton of music. Does that sound good to you? Because in addition to that, we also have a separate advanced forum of elite musicians. We have advanced monthly coaching, advanced student reviews and hot seats, as well as the rewards and discounts. So that's a lot of stuff that you get. Now, you might be thinking, Leah, this is great. I know I want to do this, but I don't have any fans at all. Like, I don't even have professionally recorded music yet. What am I going to do? I have a bonus for you. It's the 0 to Hero Starter Guide. And it's a bonus. We have a special bonus area going on, and is where you will learn how to build a fan base from zero. I will teach you how to get exposure for free, how to get some viral action for free, and even how to raise some cash for your first real recording. It's awesome. So all together, you're going to get this private community forum, the monthly coaching, monthly student reviews, access to the Online Musician, the Superfan system if you join the pro level, all those things, plus this bonus. Now, just so you know, I'm not going to be charging you the prices that are listed here. This is just what it would cost if we did one-on-one coaching. You might be thinking, okay, that's awesome, Leah. I really like the sound of this, but it also sounds like it's going to take me a lot of time, and I have an extremely busy life. Like, what if I don't have enough time or energy to put into this to see the results? I have another bonus for you, which is the Busy Musician Bootcamp. I will teach you how to find the time to work on your music. I will teach you time management, how to get more energy, how to get more creativity flowing when you're running on fumes. And some of these are elite daily habits that millionaires use. And I found a way to make it work for us as musicians. So all together, you're getting all of this plus these 2 bonuses here, which is awesome. Now, you could be thinking to yourself, okay, so I'm getting these comprehensive programs, how to record, launch, and market my music. I'm getting the 0 to Hero Starter Guide, a time management class, a cash generating idea. But here, some of you are like, how do I find like the cash to actually continue my music marketing education? Like, it's really tight. I really want to do this. There's a module in the Online Musician where I teach you about how to set up those 5 streams of income, just like I talked about. But I also want to give you some ideas that will help you to afford to work with me every month, because I know I started out with nothing. So I included some easy cash generation idea guide, and it's how to find cash that you didn't know you had, how to make an extra $100 to $500 per month, depending on how many of my tips you use, and just some side money making ideas so you never have to worry about how to afford it. So all together, you get all of this stuff, the Online Musician, the Superfan system, all the discounts, rewards, and these 3 bonuses. But I got one more for you. Maybe you're thinking like, okay, Leah, that's awesome, but what if I need to make like a lot of money, like for my next album or my next video, like how can you help me? I have one more bonus for you that's going to come along with this if you sign up today. And that is successful crowdfunding tips. And that's how to create a winning campaign. I've done 2 campaigns. One kind of sucked, and the other one was out of this world. Totally was awesome. $27,000. And I know exactly what I did very, very differently. So I want to be able to pass that along to you. Why crowdfunding is an essential part of your marketing. Even if you don't think you want to do one, you should, because there's a huge amount of just press and fan building you do in the process. How to pick and choose contributor rewards, how to manage the fulfillment of perks, how to generate the most traffic to your campaign, all of that is included. So here's what you get all together, okay? You're getting the forum, the coaching, student reviews, the 2 big courses if you're in Tri Pro, all of this stuff, and all of these amazing bonuses. 0 to Hero Starter Guide, the Busy Musician Bootcamp, the Easy Cash Generation Idea Guide, and Successful Crowdfunding Guides. Now, you might be asking yourself, like, why do you put a value on all these things, Leah? Are these just made up numbers? Absolutely not. This is exactly what it would cost to work with me one-on-one over a period of time for consulting. So if we worked through together, you and I, through all of these steps of the artist identity infrastructure, if I helped you with your micro niche and your branding, your email marketing, and if I worked with you on the fan generation machine and your advertising, I did your copy, I did your coaching, I did all of that stuff, that's exactly what it would cost. Which, by the way, even if you think that's like extravagant, it's still a fraction of what people pay for their managers and music colleges that still don't teach them this stuff. Even business colleges, they don't teach this. We have like instructors from the Berklee College of Music who are my students. They say, Leah, we don't even teach this stuff at the college. Like, we don't even get this there. So if you've ever hired a coach, it's never cheap. I have coaches. I pay for coaching. I have a personal trainer too, and that's not cheap, but I pay it because it gets me the best results. It keeps me accountable. But I'm not offering one-on-one coaching because it doesn't help change the music industry, because I'd be limited to just helping a few people. So what I want to do is help the most people. And so in order for that, I said I wanted to make this ridiculously affordable, and I am. You guys already said it would be worth the money if money was no object, that it would be worth it. So that means all we have to do is make this affordable for you. And so because this is you learning to do it yourself, and because you're a serious musician, I'm going to make this super affordable. I'm going to make this a no-brainer for you. So today you can get started with the Tribe for $57 a month. And the Tribe Pro, which gives you access to both of the big courses for just $97 a month. That is insane. I've never offered this before to anyone. So this is a huge deal, absolutely huge deal. The only thing I ask from you is two things, okay? Number one, I ask that you commit to this for at least 6 months. You got to truly give it your all. Don't do this with one foot in the door. I want you to go all in. You have imagined that you could achieve some of those things. So I want you to decide to actually do this. Give it 6 months. Because if you're just wanting to come in and look under the hood for 2 weeks, it's not even worth your effort. Okay. It's not worth it. It's not worth your time. It's not worth my time. So I would actually ask you to not sign up if you're not willing to give 6 months. Okay, this is for you. It's going to take a while for you to build momentum. Some things will come to you easily and quickly, and other things will take some time. And I think everyone here with a good head on their shoulders know that it's going to take some time, and you've got to give it your all. Number two, I ask that you promise to share your case study with me when you go through the course and when you apply all the training, because you are then going to be the expert in music marketing. You will then be a leader in this music industry. Other people are going to look to you as one of the artists that are making it right now. They're going to be looking to you and be like, whoa, what is that person doing? I got to do what they're doing. And so all I ask is that you allow us to encourage other people with your story. So that's it. In the future, we will be offering this for a much higher price, definitely, and it could change at any time. The only way that you can lock in this price is here on this webinar. On our public website, it will not be this price. So like I said, we're looking for serious musicians who are actually going to exceed what I've even done. We want people to go out there and just get into their potential, unlock their potential. So there is incredible opportunity right now. Now, for all of you lazy procrastinators who are like, I really want to do this, but I don't know, I have a fast action bonus for you. So the first 50 people to sign up today are going to get my popular mini course called 10,000 Fans in 7 Days. Okay, the first 50 people. I will show you in a matter of an hour or two how to set up a very simple Facebook ad strategy that will attract thousands of new real fans to your page within days. For some people, within hours. And these are real fans, real profiles. There's nothing fake about it. We're using the Facebook algorithms to our advantage. And I learned this from an ad agency. And I was like, man, I got to try that in my music business. This would be so awesome. And every single person who uses this properly and really does it right, it works amazingly. We have hundreds and hundreds of students using this, and they're getting the same result over and over. Really awesome. So the first 50 people to sign up today, my staff will keep track of you, and you will be gifted that mini course. It's just going to show up in your dashboard when you sign in. So very exciting. For anyone who's saying that they can't afford this, seriously, if you can't invest into your music business, I do have, remember, a cash generation idea guide that's going to be in there very, very soon for you. So you will learn how to do this. But honestly, cut back on the designer coffees, cut back on some of the stuff you spend your money on. I don't believe for a second that people don't have money to invest into their music business. And I know because I started with nothing and I made sacrifices to make it work. Sell some of the crap in your garage on eBay, sell it on Craigslist. You have so much stuff in your closet and in your garage that you don't use that's just sitting there doing nothing. And what is that doing for your music career? Absolutely nothing. You only have to sell 3 to 5 albums per month, and that's making everything free. That's how you get this all for free. Sell 3 to 5 albums. If you're not willing to sell 3 to 5 albums, you need a different kind of class, and we need to have a different kind of conversation if you're not willing to do that. So I'm just going to ask you now, what would it mean to you to add another 10,000 highly targeted fans to your Facebook page? What about adding 3,000 to 5,000 new email subscribers that you can market to any day of the week? This is huge. What about fans who recognize and adore your music from around the world that you've never even met? How much time, frustration, and money would it save you to have a shortcut to all these things? Could you learn some of this stuff on your own? Yeah. I personally spend tens of thousands every year on continuing my education. And I can tell you, the best information out there is not on YouTube. It's not on Google. You only get tiny little pieces of disjointed information that you have to try and piece together like a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. So if you like torture, if you like spending that much money on your education, you can go spend $50,000, $60,000 on your education like I did. You know, if you enjoy spending hundreds of hours doing that on your own, trying to sort and sift through it all to find out what even works and do it alone, all by yourself, like you can definitely do that. But I'm offering you a giant shortcut to what works right now. I'm offering you a shortcut. It's a fraction of the price, a fraction compared to what you would need to spend to get this elsewhere. So that would be really silly when you can skip all of that and have a thorough, organized support system, a coach, peers, taking you all the way through to your music goal so you can succeed. So if you haven't already, you're going to click on the button on the screen here, and that will take you to this page. Just click that Join Now button so you can choose where you want to start at. If you want to be in the foundation level, if you want to be in the tribe or pro level. Either way, in the pro level, you're going to get both the online musician and superfan system, but I highly recommend you need to start with the online musician regardless. This just allows you to like move along into the advanced section. If you plan on just staying in this level, this foundation for the next year or so, then just stay here. You can always upgrade later. So you definitely have that option. You can also choose an annual option. If you want to save some money, when you choose annual, it actually gives you a couple of months for free. So that's a really nice option to have as well. So you just click on there, enter your information in the order form, and boom, you're in. You're going to be sent a couple emails. You'll get your course login, you'll get your receipt, and all of that will happen in your email. So here's what it might look like inside of your dashboard when you log in. This is just, for example, if you were in the tribe level, you would see the online musician, you'll see the busy bootcamp, and anything else that you have access to will be there in your dashboard. In the pro member, you will see like the online musician and superfan system. Again, I'm going to really emphasize to you, if you join Tribe Pro, definitely start with the online musician. You need that foundation. I can't emphasize that enough. If you try to do all your Facebook ads and all of that stuff off the bat, I really don't want you to waste your money. I definitely want you to start here. You can also see members who are online at the time too. We have forums in there. We have groups, accountability groups, like if you're launching in the fall or in the spring, of people who are doing the same thing. They're in the same place as you. Here's a sneak peek into our tribe member area. We've got a place to submit questions for coaching day, a place to watch past coaching videos. We have monthly challenges going on that are super fun, and bonus sections for you. We also have a place, this is just a sneak peek of our little forum area. And we're going to jump into the Q&A time because we have lots of good questions that people have been asking. So I want to get to that. And then in a couple of minutes, we're going to do another cash prize. And for those who have to leave right now, you can get access to these slides and that special crash course download on finding your micro niche. And to get that, you just click the button, get over to getsuperfans.com, head over to that page there, and you scroll to the very, very bottom, and then you will find a download button there. So that's how you download it. It's like a zip file. Okay, so let's get into some of the questions that are already coming in. Dante says, how do I protect my songs from being stolen? Most likely your songs will never be stolen. It's very, very low probability that that will happen. If you're really concerned about copywriting, the minute you upload your songs to TuneCore or CD Baby or something like that, and you hit that publish button, even YouTube, there's a timestamp that goes on your song showing that you published that song that date and time, and you can't erase it. You can't go in there and edit it. And so technically that's official. That should hold up in the court of law. But the likelihood of someone stealing your song is so slim that I really wouldn't worry about that. Sam said, I can't spend money on my favorite artist. How can I expect people to spend on my songs? Sam, I don't know why you don't spend money on your favorite artist, but it probably has to do with priorities. And, the truth is that a lot of people do still spend money on music. It's about getting into the right niche. And maybe you're not a super fan. You might have favorite artists, but super fans tend to spend money. They go to the concerts, right? They buy the t-shirt, they buy the albums, they get the vinyl edition. They do those things. So it's a matter of getting your micro niche and a matter of offering something that people want and then building that fan base and learning how to sell your music. It's as simple as that. Dan said, how do I get people to my page to see if they dig my culture? The way you get people to your page is a number of ways. We do some organic stuff, but then we also, in the online musician, so in the tribe level, we do teach you how to build your page with a very simple Facebook ad. So we're constantly building our page and it's very targeted. And I teach you how to do the research, how to target properly, depending on the people that would be interested in what you do. So it's not a bad question. Don't worry. We teach you how to do that. Stephen asked, what business books do you recommend? Oh my goodness. I have a library of hundreds and hundreds of books. I wouldn't even know where to begin off the top of my head. At the moment, I'm reading a great book called Story Brand. That's all about creating a story around your brand, which is essential. It's like story is the future of marketing. So I'm going to be studying how I can apply that in my music business. So that's a really great one. I got another book recently, High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. I'm reading that one. And I'm also reading one by Grant Cardone called 10X. That's all about just getting way better results in anything that you're doing in life. So that's really, I read all kinds of stuff. I'm constantly reading or listening to podcasts, things like that. Adrian said, what about when you're doing something quite new where there isn't a strong culture? Well, you will create the culture, Adrian. I mean, it's unlikely that there isn't one already. It may be that during your research, like I hope you join the tribe or Tribe Pro. In your research, you're going to learn so much about your fans that you didn't know. And you'll realize, oh my goodness, like I have so much in common with these people. Even if you're doing something kind of new under the sun, there really isn't much new under the sun. But if you are, you're going to be creating that culture and then you will attract those people to you. And that's where the grassroots movement comes in. Rick said, how do you feel about CD Baby? It's great. It's great. Just like TuneCore, DistroKid, there's a whole bunch of online distribution platforms. A lot of them are fantastic. I personally use TuneCore, but a lot of people love CD Baby too. James said, what if you know what you want your culture to be, but not your music style specifically? I would say that the culture should stem out of the music. So, your culture is going to be a lot about who you are. Well, then it sounds like if you have a great idea of your culture, get songwriting then. Start writing your songs and just make it work. Like, I think that as long as it makes sense, like if you're a country artist, but your culture relates more to like an R&B crowd, that would be very confusing to your fans. So there's some alignment exercises that I will have you do inside the tribe to make sure that your music is aligning with your culture. And a lot of this also comes down to the feedback you'll get from your fans. Like I teach you how to survey your fans, what questions to ask, how to get answers from people around you so that you don't have to wonder. You're not going to guess. Like we take the guesswork out of it. You just have to follow the steps. Let's see. Brenda asked, how much is it worth to hire someone to write copy for you? Brenda, I would not recommend hiring someone to do it for you. No one is going to be able to mimic your voice as well as you can. Your fans want to hear from you, not from a copywriter. In a business situation, even, you know, I have even hired out copywriting and it never turns out as good as when I do it. That's because you are the heart and soul of your music and it needs to come from you. So you just need to learn how to do it. And if you're not willing to do that, like, honestly, you're going to have a tough time. So I recommend learning the skill and just committing to do it. It will get better and better over time. Tim said, how do you market all the different areas of your music business, as in teacher, composer, retail, music? Do you need separate websites, Facebook pages? No. Tim, that's a great question. I would recommend doing one thing. So like there would be like a tab on your website where they can learn about how, say, because here's the thing, someone might be attracted to your music. They're like, oh, that music is insanely amazing. Then they go to your website and then they see that you give lessons too. They're like, oh my gosh, I can like pay to get a lesson from this guy. I'm going to do that. So it's all encompassing. And so you want to have the same thing going on, unless like your teaching business takes off to the point where it's like taken over. At that point, you maybe could create a separate Facebook page for it. But at this point, if you're just getting going, like just keep it all as one persona, one person, one, platform. Sam said, how do I know if my music is good? I like it, but can't define it. You will know by getting feedback from others and getting people to be honest with you. I have some exercises that you go through early on in the online musician course in the tribe level that helps you define your music, helps you get feedback from others on where you could improve before you get too far down the road, because this is just a journey, right? And like, I know it's scary because we are our own worst critics. We're very critical of ourselves, but we also want to improve too. We don't want to be oblivious if like, oh, maybe I am singing out of tune all the time and I just haven't been paying attention to it. I do want to know so I can improve. So there's some specific steps that I can walk you through to help you with that. I just want to give a quick welcome to a few people who have joined the tribe. You guys have joined the family. Welcome to Timothy. Big welcome to Brianna, Elle, Cheryl, Daniel, Matt, and Troy, and a bunch of other people who are joining at this very second. I just want to give you a big hug from me to you. And more questions coming in. Amanda said, I need money for recording. I feel like once I have my music recorded, the rest is easy. The recording money has always been the wall. I have 2 compositions at a film score worthy. Hey, the best thing to do if you need money for recording is to join the Tribe Pro. First of all, we have easy cash generation idea guide. So just teaching you ways you can make money on the side. Some of them are music related. Some of them are not music related. And then I will teach you about crowdfunding, okay? And how to build an audience so that you can raise the funds for your very first recording. That's also in there. Also, my 0 to Hero guide. That is a bonus that you get when you sign up today. When you sign up, that will appear very soon in your bonuses. And that will teach you how to get your first super fans who will fund that EP or your whatever the recording is, okay? So that's all going to be in there for you. Kevin said, what if you have different types of genres of music? Kevin, you need to focus on one genre at a time and get it off the ground. There's some old Russian saying I read recently that he who chases many rabbits catches none. So you need to focus on one. And how do you know which one to focus on? Ask your friends and family and people around you which one they like better, which one resonates better, which one has more views on YouTube, which one do people comment and engage with the most. You need to take that as your cue on which one you should focus on for now. Later down the road, when you really know what you're doing, you can launch something else. But it's going to be very difficult to succeed when you're chasing too many rabbits. Charles said, what about ASCAP or BMI? Does this have any play with this? I teach about those things in there. You definitely want to be signed up with one of those performance rights royalties companies. You want to be signed up because you want to cover your bases. But we don't spend a ton of time on that. All that is collect royalties for things that you're already doing. So I make sure that you are covering your bases so you get all the royalties that you are owed. Brian said, how do I get people to subscribe to my YouTube music channel? There's a bunch of things that you can do. A lot of this comes down to people discovering you, right? It comes down to them actually finding you in the search results, which means you need to learn how to rank at the top for what you do. There's a whole module inside the Online Musician, which is in Tribe. And I teach you all about YouTube. The whole module is about YouTube and everything that you can be doing in there to rank at the very top of the search results. And when you're at the top of the search results, the likelihood of people subscribing to you goes way, way, way up. Hey, welcome to Tom. Adrian said, if you are just starting out, once again, would you consider giving your music for free in order to create an email list? Or do you think it's more important to have a revenue from your music at the start? Yeah, I absolutely would build my email list because that's currency. Like if you build an email list, there's a lot you can do with that. You can create Facebook audiences with an email list. You can market to your email list. People don't usually give you something for nothing. So if you have a great song that people are willing to give you an email list with, or give you their email list or their email with, then definitely do that. You want to be building your email list. So I would absolutely start with that. Start building your audience, start building your email list. Another question, we are currently in the recording phase. What is the appropriate budget for mixing and mastering the recording? Oh man, that's a huge question. It completely depends. I'm sorry, I don't have a hard, fast answer for you. Completely depends on your genre. What do your fans typically love? Like you should be researching the mixing and mastering that the most famous artists get done or popular in your genre. Who mixed and mastered that? Start researching that because you'd be surprised. Sometimes they're not nearly as expensive as you think. But I don't know. It totally depends on the genre. Like in the pop world, people spend 50 grand just on mixing or 100 grand on mastering. Like it's ridiculous. So it totally depends on the budget and on the person. And a lot of times these people are willing to negotiate as well if they like the artist. So don't think that that is off the table. Anthony said, are there legal loopholes someone could bypass if you copyright yourself? You know what? Legal stuff is not my area of expertise. You could probably find answers to that on websites like ASCAP and SOCAN and those kinds of, performance rights places. But no, I mean, I don't think that I don't know why people are so concerned about being copyrighted and people stealing their songs when, to be honest, you have a lot to improve. Most people don't want to steal your songs. Most people are not going to, like, the likelihood of someone stealing your song is so low. You are completely spending your focus and energy on the wrong thing. You need to be focused on building an audience and selling your music. That's what you need to focus on. As soon as you publish your music to any platform online, that it is now time and date stamped. You can't change that. So the likelihood of someone stealing your song is not very high. BJ said, can you use public domain music? Yes, if it's public domain. I don't know why you would want to use it. The best case scenario is to either do your own twist on a cover song or do original music. Tom said, is it easy to upgrade to Tribe Pro? It is. Yeah. And it's there, no worries at all. If you want to join the Tribe phase first, absolutely. You can completely progress and upgrade later. Chelsea asked, do we get lifetime access to the program after buying? You get access for as long as you're a member. This is a monthly membership. So if you want to stay a member forever, you definitely can. And I will continue to coach you every month. I will answer your questions every month. I will give you mini trainings. I will also be updating the courses. So as long as you're a member, you're going to have access to everything, the private forms and all of that. So if I decide to overhaul the program and completely give you all new content, you will have access to that for as long as you're a member. Dan said, is there someone in the program that can show my music that I can show my music to get an objective judgment about my music? I have a hard time judging for myself. Yes. So there's ways that I teach you in the Online Musician and even in Superfan system. You can survey people around you, your friends, family, acquaintances, You can survey your fans, and then you can also ask in our private forum. The students there are amazing. People want to help out each other. It's a really tight-knit family situation, and they will give you some honest feedback, and they will also be kind with you too, but they will be honest with you. So that's a great place to do that. Last call for questions, guys. How do I know if I have good quality music to be able to join? By the way, many people who join, they don't even have their first recording yet. So it's a great time to join if you are starting at ground zero. So you can just surround yourself with other quality artists and get that feedback. Get feedback from other people doing the same thing. If you already have music, I recommend, like I said, surveying them. I will teach you what questions to ask, how to ask it, how do you get the feedback, how to organize the data you get back. All of that is in the Online Musician and Superfan system. It's all in there in the tribe. How do I know if I'm ready to join with where I'm at with my music right now? So the tribe covers all the levels of where a musician might be. I don't care if you haven't even started yet, or if you've been doing this for 35 years. You need to master your artist identity infrastructure on the internet. Because even if you think you have a good idea of what it is already, you've never done it successfully on the internet. I have. I know how to show you how to get there. So you've got to get that micro niche, your image, your brand, the social media, the culture. You start with that foundation of the tribe level. But if you've got a ton of drive and ambition and you want to power through it all, and then you want to go up to the advanced level in a shorter period of time, you can definitely do the Tribe Pro level. And then you can kind of just, go through it at your own pace. Hey, Tom, he said, thanks, Leah. I'm tribed up. Big love from Dublin. Oh my gosh, Tom, I'm coming to your house like right now. That's like my dream place to live. I feel like I should have been born in Dublin. I should have been born there, and I'm not, and I'm a little upset about that. I'm coming to your house. Oh, Jason, no, of course, I'm not going to be mad if you don't sign up today, but this deal is for people who have attended this webinar. There's no saying what will happen to the prices after today, so fair warning for you there. How are we giving the courses? Okay, so whichever level you subscribe to, you will get the access. It'll all be in your main dashboard. So there's video, there's audio, so you can listen to it. And then there's lots of worksheets that you can print. I know a lot of you guys love to write on paper, and so do I. So you're going to get to go through it at your own pace. I encourage you to go through it in order. Even if you think you already know something, there's always something you can refine and just make your process better. Yeah. Let's see. Any last questions here? Thank you, Kevin. It says I'm the queen of the music revolution. That's awesome. But it's actually you guys are the music revolution. You guys are the new music industry. That's why I'm here. I have been doing this for a little while now, but it's about you guys and what you're going to be doing. Let's see. Adrian, is it better to release singles or albums, and why? They each have their place, but albums sell much better. You're not going to make a ton of money from singles. Singles are better for promotion. Albums are better for sales. There you go. Giancarlo, let's see. I've got everything, my niche, my music genre, but how can you be so sure that your program is working? Oh my gosh. Do I need to show you my sales again? Do I need to show you them? But listen, we have hundreds and hundreds of students who are doing this. You can go to our website and click on student stories. You will see hundreds and hundreds of students who are doing this and are succeeding. They're completely changing everything they're doing in their music business now. I don't know what else to do, man. I mean, I've shown you my sales. I've shown you the whole thing, and I've shown you testimonials of people who are actually doing it. If that doesn't convince you, I don't know, man. But I understand. Why don't you join us for a month and see how it goes? Yoko says, I do 2 styles of music, Tibetan Buddhist mantras and also world influenced R&B. Had great responses to both. My Tibetan album is the one which is complete to sell. My R&B album is the one I really want to fly with. And the only thing is the album isn't done yet. What do you think I should do? So that's a timing issue. You definitely want to go with where your heart is at. You don't want to be spending a ton of time in promotion into something you're not that excited about. But it says you've had great responses to both. So I would really go with the surveying stuff that we do. I think you need to spend some time in the forums and ask people, hey, which one should I go with? This is going to be a big deal, getting some feedback from the people around you. I don't want to make that decision for you. That's not for me to tell you what to do there, but I can definitely guide you and show you how to get the proper feedback from people in your network, your existing fans, the people already around you, and then our students will give you some amazing feedback. Once you know that, it'll be really easy and simple. You can always promote the other thing too, because it's the same artist, right? And they're going to go, even though they're a little bit different genres, I have a feeling that they complement one another in some way. Amanda said, is it a monthly fee? Can we cancel anytime? Yes, it is a monthly fee. Yes, you can cancel. However, Amanda, you need to commit to 6 months to your dream, to your goals. Because if you think you're going to join and then in a week, some kind of miracle is going to happen, it's not going to happen. All of these strategies are going to take some time and effort to implement. And we have students who joined a year and a half ago, and they're like, Leah, life got interrupted, and I'm just getting back into the course now, and I'm going to go through the whole thing all over again. And that's just life, and that's the way it goes. So that's why we have this going month to month, is because we know that life can get in the way, but you need to commit to yourself. This isn't about me. This is for you, okay? This is for you. This is for your dream. It's going to take a level of dedication to make it happen, okay? So I just ask, remember those two things. In exchange for me making this ridiculously affordable, I ask for you to commit to yourself at least 6 months of doing this. Guys, that bonus number 5, the 10,000 fans in 7 days, there's only a few left. We have only a few left. Remember, the first 50 people to sign up today, and my admin is telling me we only have a few left. So you got to join now if you want that to appear for free in your course tribe dashboard. All right, let's do the second giveaway now. And let's see here. Okay, are you ready? Second giveaway, second cash prize. What are the 3 phases of building a successful music career online? What are the 3 phases of building a successful music career online? I shared that with you during this class. Hey, Adrian, I see your question. Are the coaching calls from the programs recorded in order to watch, listen later? Yes, they absolutely are. And we also tag you. If I happen to answer your question, we'll tag you in there and give you the timestamp so you can jump to the spot where I answer your question. So it's super awesome. We keep them all in the tribe area. Hey, Chelsea, she said she just signed up for Tribe Pro. Very excited. And oh, thank you. She said, I love your YouTube videos about recording your album, also your music. I'm so excited for you. So does anybody know the answer to the 3 phases of building a successful music career online? Tom said artist identity, quality music micro niche. Ooh, you got the first one right. You got the first one because that's from the first phase, but the quality music and micro niche, that's from the first phase, but there's 2 more phases that come after that. Artist identity, and there's 2 more phases. Ooh. Ooh, close. Ethan says standout automate build cash machine. Those are from those are kind of a mix of different things from the phases, but it looks like Dom got it. Artist identity, the fan generation machine, and then accelerate and scale. So close. But it looks like Dom got the closest there. I'll let my admin decide what we're going to do. Guys, very last call for questions because we're just about to wrap up. Any last questions? Better type fast. Better type fast. And for those of you who are still here, you can get the slides. You can get every single one of the slides on the page where you go to getsuperfans.com, and scroll the very bottom of this page, and there's a little download button where you can get the slides to this whole thing, plus a workbook on how to find your micro niche, So yeah, my admin is confirming that Dom is the winner. So congratulations, you got it the closest. That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, this was so much fun. Hey, Amanda. She says, I'm in. Try Pro. Woohoo. Amanda, I want you to start with Tom with the online musician course, okay? Don't jump into the advanced stuff just yet, but you can plow through it if you're really determined. Start at that foundational level. You're going to kill this. I know it. You guys who are joining today, you're going to be the online marketing experts in music. You are going to be the person that other musicians are looking to go, what are they doing? I need to start doing that. So congratulations to those of us who have joined the Tom Tribe family today, the SMA family. You guys are becoming savvy musicians. Thank you so much for coming today. It was my honor to hold this class for you. To share with you everything that I know and that I'm learning. I'm constantly experimenting in my own music career, and it's my joy and privilege to pass that along to you. Also, just a quick welcome to Gary. We have a lot of people joining at the last second here, which is awesome. Kevin said, I'm on a cell phone. Can I still get the download? I think our admins will answer that. So anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you for coming today. I hope that this was informative, and we will see you later. Talk to you soon. Bye.